Hey everybody, welcome back to PlumFiggy. This is Tammy. All right, so it is time for some Halloween journals. Are we excited about that? I am. I actually have two of them completed. One was actually completed last year, and I don't think I ever got a video out or got it set up on Etsy. And then the other one I completed just recently, and it's gonna be fun. So look for a video of a walkthrough of those two soon, and they will be available on my Etsy shop very soon as well. But for today, this is a collection that I purchased, gosh, way back. It looks like 2018 and 2019 from Tuesday Morning. That doesn't even exist in my area anymore, but this is an older set. What is the even? Yeah, it's from 2017, excuse me. But this is Pink Paisley's Spellcast, and I've had this collection, like I say, for that long, and I still haven't done anything with it. And I've decided that now is the time. Because why not? Because I need to do something. It's so cute. I really have always liked it. So anyway, I have obviously the ephemera, which I actually bought multiples of these things. So I actually have the ephemera already out of the box. I might have used a few of these. Actually, no, I don't think so. But I'll use this. And then I have, this is the washi tape set. So basically stickers, but in washi tape paper and washi tape form. So really fun. I've got all kinds of fun ideas. I honestly, I'm not sure if I remember if this is from this collection or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it with this. I do have a missing H, but I have an H here, so it might be slightly bigger. But I don't need to use the hay. But anyway, so I kind of wanted to use up these if I could. And since we're doing a junk journal, I think I'll try and remove some of the bulk from these if I can. I'll play with that a little bit with the E and the Y here and see if I can't remove some of the bulk, and then I'll put some of them into the pages. Otherwise they might be used, or one of them or something will be used on the cover. I have the stickers. It's the 120 piece stickers. So again, we'll be using this to decorate our pages with. Really cute little kitty cat. So this is very hocus pocus, kind of, I don't want to say knockoff, but kind of a knockoff. These are cling labels, which I believe are really more meant for glass and like that kind of thing. So I'm not sure if this is really going to work on paper, but I figured I would try it out and see what happens. Whenever you're doing something like this, you're going to want to use glue stick, because any other kind of liquid glue that I use, and probably tape runner, you would see the glue through the sticker because they're going to be see-through. Same with the washi stickers. I'll use glue stick for that. And then this is from the 6x6 paper pad. A long time ago, I dyed these with a mixture of black acrylic paint diluted in water. And so the back sides are no longer white. They are a wonderful shade of gray, blackish gray. And so I will use these as the primary pages of the journal. I've decided I'm going to join them together like this, using either this paper or this packing paper. So that'll be fun, and it'll be a different kind of size than what you normally would see for a junk journal, I think. So it'll be 6x6 instead. I'm trying to, I think I will remove these headers. I don't know how many will be used, but I'm pretty good at reusing that kind of thing. And sewing them together or gluing them together and doing kind of like a patchwork type deal. So yeah, so these are really fun papers. I believe I have the 12x12 pad also, but this was ready to go and I didn't need to. I love this. So yeah, if you're wanting to do something like this, obviously you can use any color of paint. It does have a little bit of a, I don't want to say grit, but it's textured. You can feel that it's been painted, but I just used a big broad paintbrush and I just painted it on there and let it dry, and you see what you get. So really fun. And then this is the cut apart sheet. So I'll use this for little tuck spots or little journaling cards or whatever they might be used for. Okay, so in addition to that, I have a few pieces of paper from a really old Tim Holtz. I probably want to say it's from Halloween, back when he still did the 8x8 sheets. So I'll cut these down to 6x6 and use them as pages in the journal as well. I've got 3 of them. Well, I don't know what that's doing in there. I've got 4 of those. So I figured these are flocked. They're fuzzy, little polka dots, and the paisley as well, if you're not familiar with those. But I thought these would work really well. And same with this. This is acetate. And I'll cut this down and turn this into a page also. It looks like there's just some paper clinging to it. And that'll be a really fun page. Figured I would use 2 pieces of this, maybe more. I've got more in my stash, but I thought these might be nice for just filler paper. This was just a random, I don't know, but I don't think I'll use this side. I'll just probably use this side for maybe some collaging or something. We've got some tea-dyed parchment paper here, and this is really fun. I'll use some of this for maybe 2 pages in the journal, and then the rest of it I'll use to join together the other papers over there. And then kind of the same with this packing paper. I'll use some of it as actual pages in the journal, and then the scraps I'll rip into strips and we'll join the pages together using this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start now and I will not be talking through this not live talking as I'm filming. I won't talk through this entire thing live because I got other things going on in the background and kind of need to have the video sound off while I'm doing other things are happening. So I'll just do a voiceover, and hopefully you'll come along and see how this gets created, and then eventually it will be available in my Etsy shop and ready for Halloween. So here we go. All right, so let's get started. All right, so first thing I want to do is get my pages prepped and ready for being in the journal. So I like to tear. I don't like to use a cutting paper cutter unless I have to. I don't know. I just prefer the ragged edges of tearing. Makes it more junky looking to me. But I think what I'm going to do is join each of these together and instead of folding them. So here I'm just preparing and making sure I've got the right number of pages. And then now I'm working on the other pages. So I'm going to be using some of this packing paper as pages in the journal. And then also the other paper that I was showing just before along with some of that tea-dyed parchment paper, which is so cool. If you haven't tried that, you really should. It's a lot of fun. It looks really cool. So yeah, that I was just preparing for joining those two 6x6 papers together, and to get the right height. And I'll use those and that other piece on the right side for that. So when you're using this packing paper, I find that it's easiest just to kind of work with what you got. If you've tried to use it before, you know it's sometimes can be a little bit unruly and do what it wants, and it's already kind of folded in a way. And I find that, yeah, it's just easier to not expect it to be perfect and just kind of go with it as far as making pages out of it goes. So, all right, so now we're going to join our pages together. I will be using glue stick to glue these down initially, but then I will go and, no, I lied. I decided to use my art glitter glue. I will be sewing them also. So at this point, really what you should do and not follow what I'm doing is put a scratch piece of paper underneath so you don't have a messy workspace after. But I didn't think ahead that far, apparently, and didn't do that. I will do it after a while. But as you can see, I'm just... I'm tearing. I like to tear them. I like the rugged edge again, and putting one on each side. And so I'll go back and forth. I didn't like how that looked, so I'm going to do it over. I think I did one of them upside down, if I remember right. What was I just going to say? Oh, I'm going to alternate between the packing paper and some of that tea-dyed parchment paper. And for that one, I will use glue stick because it's kind of see-through, and you would see the lines of the art glitter glue if I didn't do that. So kind of a fun little process. It's a great way to use up some scraps. If you have a lot of paper strip scraps, this is great. Although I will say, try to avoid using thick paper for this, because if you think about it, this is the center of your journal, and the thicker you make that, the harder it's going to be for your pages to turn. So in this case, yeah, I finally put a piece of paper down there. In this case, I kind of was on the verge of also doing too many pages like this in one journal can become a problem if you're not careful and if you're kind of bulking it up too much in the middle there. So lessons learned from my past I'm sharing with you is try to keep the number of these to a minimum unless you're making your spine accordingly, which hopefully you would be. But yeah, just try and be mindful of that if you're going to use this technique. Hey guys, okay, so I'm back. First of all, I need to explain it's been some time since I started the video with the magic of editing. As you can see, I've got some henna on my hand. At my work, they are very inclusive and I love it. We celebrated Diwali yesterday and they had someone there to do people's henna if they wanted. So I had never done it before, so I thought, well, let me try it out. So anyway, apologize for that. And then on top of that, I have ink all over myself because I was switching fountain pens. So it's, I apologize for my left hand. It's different than usual. But all right, so let me catch you up on what I have done so far. I have joined each of these. Here, I have joined all of the papers together, and I'll just explain how I did it. So all I did was I took some of this tea-dyed parchment paper or some of the packing paper and glue stick and stuck that down on both sides. So I did a piece of paper on both sides, glued down, and then literally just went up and down it with my sewing machine. Some of them have a zigzag stitch, some of them have a straight stitch, and so that's just, yeah, so that's where I landed with that. And then I went ahead and put together all of my 3 signatures. We've got the paper from the paper pad, we've got some packing paper, and then I also had some of this paper. It's not dyed by me. It's made to look like it's hand dyed, but it's not. But it's like a copy weight paper. It's really nice, actually. I really like it. It's nice to work or write on. And then there is other papers in here as well. I did take some of these extra strips that I had left over and turn them into a fold out page on some of them, and did the same type of joining of those there. Let's see, this one, it looks like I only had the packing paper. I didn't have as much of the tea-dyed parchment paper. That out of there. Here we go. So here's one. So that is also a page in some of these. I think, did I only have 2 of these? I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how many I had, but there's one other one. So anyway, these are ready to be decorated, and I would like to get started on that because it's all of a sudden the middle of October, almost the end of October, and basically this is late for Halloween, but I had started it and I want to get it finished and then move on to do some Christmas journals. So yeah, I got to figure out kind of where I want to go for Christmas as far as themes and things. I got a lot of opportunities of different types of Christmas journals I could do. I could also do some Christmas journal kits. That was an idea I had this morning when I woke up. I've just got so much stuff. I've got so many supplies down in my craft room that are just not getting used, and why not make some kits out of them? I know I've said this in the past and then I never did it. I really do want to do that this time because there's no way that I can use all of this stuff in my lifetime. Anyway, I don't want to go on a long story about that, but let me show you kind of what I got going on here. So I got all the extra bits and pieces of what I had been using to make the pages from. So these are the cutoffs from the 8x8 pages from the Tim Holtz paper because it was too long, because these are 6x6 journals. So I can use some of these as pockets and things like that. And then move that off to the side. It's just cat hair everywhere. Of course, I've got all of this good stuff. And then off to my side, I do have even more stuff. I don't know if I'll use it, but more from my Halloween stash. These are from Michael's from years past. This one might not really go too well with this theme. But some more of this idea. Yeah, this is more spooky, not as cute. Maybe the bats. I know it's hard to see. Maybe I'll pull out these bats. I'll pull out one of these. Here, you can see that. So maybe I'll use that for something. All right, put that off to the side. And what else do I have over here? I've got this. I don't think this really works. It's not quite the right style necessarily for what we're doing here. And then the rest of it is just Tim Holtz Halloween stuff, so probably won't do that. I'm disappointed in myself because I had wanted to do another journal this year that's Tim Holtz, and maybe I still will. Maybe I'll do it after Halloween. I mean, I guess I enjoy watching them after the fact. I'm sure you guys might too. And then before I forget, let me get this out because I'll need it. I do have some washi here, but you know what? I don't think I'm going to use this either because, well, maybe some of this I could. But because we've got this whole washi sticker set here that I might as well use, and this doesn't really necessarily go with the collection. It's a Michael's Reflections collection. So, all right, getting my glues out. I've got our glitter glue as usual, and then right now I've got a Scotch permanent glue stick that I'm using up. Works okay. It's pretty sticky actually. So, okay, I'm going to get started, and I guess do a little bit of voiceover. So. So I thought I would try one of these, what, I don't even know what you would call these, but they're more like a window cling than a sticker, and they have that kind of stretchy, clear look to them. I thought I'd try one out and see what I thought about it. It's the only one in the journal. I think it's fine, but not quite the right kind of thing that I was looking for this one. But I just went ahead and turned it into a tuck spot for one of the pages. And yeah, I don't know that I'll do another one of those in this journal. I'll probably use those cling things for something else. But now I'm just trying to remember and refamiliarize myself with all the different ephemera pieces and things. I have put the cut apart things from the cut apart sheet in there too as more ephemera. And then, yeah, just disassembling this to make it easier on myself, because sometimes they can be a little tricky to get off of the sticker paper. But all right, so let's get going. Really, I got so much choice. It's hard to kind of, and you see me tapping my finger there trying to figure out what I want to do. But went ahead and made a belly band on this first page out of the scrap of that Tim Holtz paper. And before I glued it down, I thought, oh, I should probably add something to it to kind of give it a little more interest. So found a couple of the cut apart pieces, and I thought those would work really well. And kind of just, yeah, I put those on top and turn that into the decoration on that belly band. I really love these photo pieces, and I wanted to make sure that you could slide a photo in or whatever you'd want to put in there. So I only added glue to the top and bottoms so that you could slide whatever you wanted to put on them from the left or the right through there. I think they're a really fun thing to add to your journals if you have something like that. So I love the little witch there, and I saw that little sign. It says witches, wizards, and wands, and I thought, oh, fun. Okay, let me make a pocket out of this clear piece. I probably shouldn't have put the glue on there. I'm going to sew this down, and I did hide some of that, or at least attempt to. I will glue that witches, wizard, and wands thing down, but I'm gonna sew it first and then glue it on top of the sewing, just to kind of add a little bit more interest there. So using some of this washi, just wanted to kind of give myself a starting place on this page. I just wanted to do a little collage of things, and just, yeah, trying to kind of keep in mind the page that's on the right side. It's also crystals. So I thought it would be kind of a fun little nod to that page there with the crystal washi tape. So, all right. So at this point, I'm thinking about what to do with these strips that I took off the top of each of the pages. And I like to make tuck spots and things like that. Or you could make an entire page out of these if you have enough of them. But I like to make tuck spots and stuff out of these. And what I'll do is I'll just glue them one at a time to each other. But apparently I changed my mind and I'm doing something different now. But I will come back to that, and yeah, we can talk about that when we get to it. Okay, so here we go, making our little tuck spot. So I'm tearing them where the hole is in the strip. And so they're really going to be about 3 inches a piece. And at this point, I'm just trying to decide what colors and things I want to put together. And then I just add a little bit of glue on the very edge. And I try to stagger them so that they're not all cascading in one direction. Like here you can see I'm trying to, I put the first one on top of I put the second one on top of the first one. And then the third one I put under the second one, and again another one under, and then this one over. So I think that kind of helps keep it a little more interesting too. And of course, depending on your patterns and whatnot that you're working with, you'll want some on top or below, because you can kind of get a sense of what the pattern is, even though it's being hidden by 2 others a little bit more. So in this case, I decided to turn this one into a top tuck spot, and I thought that cat was kind of perfect. So we'll just put the little kitty cat on top and decorate it with that, and then add a little bit of fun words. And I wish I could read this, but we'll do a final flip through at the end quickly, and then I will do a full flip through video when it's ready for sale. So look for that coming very shortly. For this page, I thought it would be fun to add something that would be like kind of a tab to show that you would open it out. And so I found this. It says trick or treat. And so I just glued that down. And I didn't think about the fact that the back side of it is white. So now I'm trying to figure out what to cover that with, that will cover it actually in a decent way. And nothing there in the ephemera is really kind of working. So I guess I could have used some of the strips from the top of the papers for this. I didn't think about that. That would have been kind of cool. But in the end, I went to the washi strips, and that worked out pretty well. It was a little tricky though, cutting around. Yeah, so I'm just gonna tear off some pieces from that and trying to find the wider ones, or we'd have a bunch of different kinds of washi. But putting my glue stick down, and then I will cut the extra off after the fact. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. It was a little trickier than I had intended it to be, but I think I did a good job in the end there. We got a round circle anyway, and that's the goal. So yeah, I like that. It looks good. All right, so this page was a little bit floppier than I wanted it to be. I kind of wanted it to be a little sturdier than it was. So I thought, ooh, what a good opportunity to add a big pocket to the page. And I'm going to use this see-through bat scene as that. I'm getting it ready now, but I'm not adhering it or doing anything to it right now because I don't want to add glue, because you would see that glue underneath there, and I didn't want to do that. So I will go and sew that later on. And then on the back side there was a rip in the paper, so just to kind of reinforce it even more, I'm gonna do a tiny little collage there with some washi and some other sticker or something here. Okay, so I think it's time for our first gold word, and I chose to put frightful at the top of this page. At the beginning of the video, I did mention maybe removing some of the bulk from these stickers. These are thickers, actually, so they're a little bit raised and kind of 3D looking in a way. I don't know. I felt like I've done this before with this type of material, and it kind of doesn't always end up quite as well as you want it to. So I just went ahead and did the whole thing. They're a little bit thick, but really, I didn't feel like you noticed it much at all flipping through the journal. I feel like the cardstock it's thick enough that it's really not affecting the writability of these pages. And I would hope, and I don't know, everyone does it differently, but I know I like to add bulk to my journals. And so it's going to kind of get bulky anyway, I assume. And so, yeah, but I really like how that looks. It's kind of fun, messy looking, a little, not perfectly handwritten or whatever. Really fun little stickers there. Alrighty, so kind of finishing up this page, I will not show all the decoration. The video would be 6 hours long, even sped up. It would be very long if I showed all the decorating of the pages. So at this point, we're gonna fast forward a little bit and work on the covers. So cover. I've got all the pages decorated, but not sewn yet. But at this point, we kind of know how thick it's going to be. So I know how big to make my spine for the journal. And so as you can see, I'm using some cereal box cardboard that I've saved for the cover material. And then added to that to give it a little bit more strength, I have some Tim Holtz paper pad cover, like cardstock covers. Wow, I can't talk today. There, you can see. I'm going to cut those down, and I'm just going to do a layer of the cereal box and then a layer of that Tim Holtz paper pad cover to kind of add a little bit more strength. Now, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac for my glue, and I will fully cover these with paper. And so, as you can see, there's still that sticker there that was holding the Tim Holtz paper pad closed. I'm not worrying about that whatsoever. The Fabri-Tac is going to work fine. I'm probably trying to find something on TV to watch there. The Fabri-Tac is going to hold on to it fine. It's great glue. It is a little expensive, especially now that we don't have Joann anymore to have our nice 40 or 50% off coupon to use. I really am going to miss Joann's. But anyway, yeah. So, if you're worried about that, don't worry too much, especially if you're going to do it like I'm doing here, where you're covering the whole thing. And there you can see I'm kind of moving it around a little bit so I can get the glue kind of spread more evenly in between the layers. And then I'm planning to use these pieces for the spine. And so I'm just marking the height now of the journal and double checking my width, I guess. I didn't mark it because that sticker actually was the perfect marker for me. I was just going from the edge of the paper to the edge of that sticker, and that was my width. And then I realized actually the width that it is now is fine. It was just slightly a little bit larger. So we'll just go with that width instead. And now I'm just cutting a few pieces from that cereal box so that I can sandwich them together and make a thicker spine. So it'll handle holding the signatures in. So now I just need to glue those together. I don't know that I'll use all 4 though. I think probably I'll do at least 2. And then, yeah, I'll do a third, but probably not 4 at this point because I'm going to, the way I construct this is I'm not going to put the spine with the front and back covers yet. I'm thinking about how I want to do this now. I'm going to sew the signatures into the spine without the covers attached yet, and use fabric to attach the covers. So, all right, now at this point, I want to cover my front and back covers. But first, I wanted to use that transparency. Well, I know these as transparencies, but the clear acrylic page as the main cover art, I guess, artwork. And so I knew I needed to have something to back that with. And so I'm going to use this paper as its backing. So I want to get the paper the exact right same size as the piece of acrylic paper piece. It'll make sense in a second, but slightly smaller than the cover. And then the paper and this piece will become the same size. So I'm going to measure that together. By the way, this is all on the fly. I didn't really plan all this. I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. So sometimes that's the best way to do things, I find. And then, yeah, I'm using my pokey tool to mark where I need to cut because using a pen on this stuff is not as easy as it might always seem. Not all pens work great, but the pokey tool can scratch. So that's what I did. So as you can see, now I've got the same size there. And then I realized I probably want to distress this with some black, or I've got here is a really dark gray, because I didn't really want to see white edges around the outside of that. So I'm just distressing that. And then I will sew them both together before I glue it on to the cover. So put that aside for now, but yeah, just checking to make sure it's the right size. And yep, we'll put that aside and then we'll keep working on covering the rest of the 2 cover pieces. Okay, so I'm putting the 2 covers under my mat to kind of let them dry flat and not warp at all, even though this Fabri-Tac glue is alcohol based. It's not water based glue. It wouldn't warp anyway, but I don't know. Sometimes I find that it just is more helpful to let them dry flat underneath some books or sandwiched in books or under your working mat there. What I'm doing here is I'm prepping my front and back inside covers. So I will want to glue these down inside the cover on the front and back, and did the same exact thing as I did for the outside cover with distressing the outer edges. And I want to add some pockets on the front and the back. So that piece there that I have right here, that's perfect. I'm going to glue that down and then also around it. And really, I don't think I need to do much else besides that. I might add something to it to kind of add a little more decoration. And then this, I'm going to turn this into a pocket. I was looking for the largest pieces of ephemera and whatnot that I had left, and these were it. So decided to just turn those two into a pocket. And again, I will sew around those. In hindsight, I wish I wouldn't have glued that down quite already or quite that soon, because I probably should have sewn down the middle, but it should be fine. The art glitter glue is really strong. I've never had any issue with it. At this point, I'm trying to decide if I want to add anything to that join there or not. But in the end, I decided not to. So there's that. All right, now going back to the spine. At this point now, I want to cover the spine with some paper like I did with the front and back covers, and gonna let that dry. And now I'll keep working on the front and back covers. So cutting off my corners now so I can fold over the edges and have a nice clean edge there. So I've done tutorials on this many times in the past. If you're curious about more details on that, go look for a tutorial of mine. I've got lots of them. You can just search PlumFiggy and cover tutorial, and you'll find what you're looking for. But really quickly, I always glue from opposite sides first. So I did the top and bottom, and then now I'm doing the left and the right. But before I do the left and the right, I tuck in the very corner with my fingernail on both sides, just to cover completely the corner, so that there's no open edges or anything. So I guess it's left and right, but opposite sides, gluing the opposite sides. And the reason you want to do that is because sometimes your paper can shift and you don't even realize it's happening until after the fact. And to avoid that from happening, doing it opposite really helps that way. And then now I'm tucking in the very corners and then adding my glue. And because I've tucked in those corners, it's going to fold a whole lot nicer on the corners now. So, all right, and doing the exact same thing to my spine piece. And yeah, so it's just in a smaller format now because it's just the spine, but exactly the same process here. Alrighty, so I have done all my sewing. I've sewn around all these pockets. I went through each of the pages again to find all the things that I had wanted to sew. This has now become a pocket, and so we are good to go and ready to finish up our cover and get this thing done. So at this point, I'm thinking about how I want to construct this, and yeah, you can see me thinking there. I'm realizing right now that I don't think I want to do it the traditional way. I want to do it in a different way. And so, yep, some more thinking. So we're going to change up what we're going to do, and I'm now looking for some fabric. So I went ahead and found some Halloween style fabric that I had bought in past years. I'm redoing my spine, and I'm going to glue this one piece of cardboard straight onto the fabric. And then, like I said earlier, because I know as editing Tammy that this is how it ended up coming about, I will sew my signatures directly into this piece. Unfortunately, I did not measure quite right, and my fabric was just a little short, so just doing a little bit of surgery there with another piece of fabric. And yeah, I made it hard on myself putting this together. I don't know, I just, for whatever reason, I had a hard time getting the measurements right for this fabric, but it worked out in the end, and I don't really think you notice anything weird as far as me having to kind of finagle it a little bit. But right there you saw I poked my holes through both the cardboard and the fabric. And so I'll be the fabric side that you see here. Yeah, I'm messing up here too. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I even thinking right now? The fabric side that you see there is what actually is going to be on the inside of the journal. So that'll be the inside of the spine. So you kind of have to think through it. If you're doing something like this, you kind of have to kind of think through, okay, this is going to be now here and not the outside. And it's a little bit backwards from what you would expect. So, all right. So that is all done. I used some black, what am I looking for? Twine, I guess. It's not twine, but black string that I've used in the past. And so now I have another piece of fabric that I'm going to glue directly down and sandwich it all together in this fabric. And it looks like I'm putting a ton of glue down. I'm not. If you're familiar with using Fabri-Tac glue on fabric, you know it's easy to over glue it, and then you can see your glue through the fabric. And so why I'm spreading it out with my finger is because I don't want that to happen. And so by doing it like that, I'm avoiding that from happening. So I'm just now, I'm trying to get everything to stick together and adhere well before I continue on, because this is going to be the way that the book really is held together. So I want to make sure it's really nice and strong. So at this point now, I'm going to glue my front and back covers to that fabric. And so being very careful to line it up correctly. I've had practice doing this. Trust me, my first time doing it did not work out very well. It was all kinds of wonky and out of shape. And so I just want you to know that this is not the first time I've done it. So if you're trying to do this for the first time, probably expect to have a little bit more finagling and working with it to get it to be lined up straight and whatnot. But gluing that down, and then I'm going to let this sit for a minute before I do any more. I'm checking again to make sure that that's the right shape and size, and I think it is. But before I glue that down, I want to sew my cover to the fabric. And so on the front, you're not going to see the sewing, So I don't care where my holes are really. I'm marking for where I'm going to put my holes. But on the back, I want to do a cross stitch or X with my string. So I am being a little more careful with where I'm putting my holes there, and yeah, finding a better ruler to help me with that. So it's a little bit unorthodox. I don't normally do things quite like this all the time, but in the end, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Spoiler, I guess. But yeah, so once I finish this, I'll take my pokey tool, and where I've marked my holes, I will make a hole. And I'm supporting it with my fingers very well. This is another thing that I've got practice with. I'm supporting both the cardboard and the fabric with my fingers. It's a little bit dicey because you can very easily poke yourself if you're not careful. But I've found that it keeps it looking nicer if you do it that way. So, all right, at this point now, I'm working on the back cover. As you can see, I'm doing my X's or cross stitches. And I did use washi tape there to tape down my tail end. I didn't want to do a knot because I knew I was going to be covering this with paper, and I didn't really want a little knot kind of sticking through there or showing. So I thought keeping it flat like this would be good. And actually, I'm going to be putting Fabri-Tac down all on there anyway, so it's going to be super secure, will not come apart. So I did that on the top and the bottom. Just use some washi to secure it and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So, all right, so that is sewn down. I've sewn down the front as well, as you saw there. I just did a haphazard sewing, just enough to make sure it's just make sure it's secure. And so now I'm gluing down the front and back inside covers. So it actually worked out really well. I was really pleased. I thought it would be a little bumpier than it was, but actually it's not. If I was to come back years later and try and remember how I did this without watching the video and just, seeing it, I would have to really kind of think about it, because I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was pleasantly surprised at how well that worked. So, all right. So now at this point, I do want to put Hocus Pocus on the front of the book, and I'm going to glue that directly down onto the acrylic paper or page here. And that's really going to be it. All I got to do then is glue that down to the top, and we'll be all done. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. I know there was only really one video of me decorating for Halloween journals this year, and I apologize about that. I know I usually do more than that, but I do have plenty of Halloween journals available in my shop, even from last year. So if this one isn't quite up your alley, take a look. There's several others at this point in time, and maybe one of the others might work for you. But either way, if you don't make a purchase from me, I understand. I totally get that too. And I love just watching how people make journals and decorate and all the fun things. So I hope you did that as well with me today. And I will see you all in the next video very soon. Bye, guys.